Hello, this is Eric of Noctua, and today I'm doing a cooler review overview of things that you may want to consider with coolers, and also temperatures under different fan conditions, and with two different CPUs, but mostly under 3800X. Before we start, one thing I want to point out is I don't have a decibel meter, and all the sound of the fans are recorded volumes, so you can hear the sound for yourself. A decibel meter won't tell you if a fan is shrieky loud or if it's a low deep hum. So this way, I do a side-by-side at the end showing each cooler at 100% and 50% that I tested on 3800X. With the Ryzen 3600 CPU, Prime 95 using in-place large FFTs was used for testing. The Ryzen 3600 using the Wraith Stealth cooler that comes factory with the CPU at 100% fan speed at 100% load. When first testing, the max temperature was 67 degrees Celsius. After 20 minutes of use, the temperature dropped down to 63 degrees max temperature. No aftermarket thermal paste used. It was factory thermal paste that comes with the CPU. Wraith Stealth fan at full speed. Wraith Stealth at silent mode. The amount of downward pressure required to install this cooler can make it difficult to install properly for many people. The mounting system is 4 screw holes. The mounting of this cooler requires the removal of the brackets that come with this motherboard. Keep these safe. You may need them again if you change your cooler. This is the BeQuiet Shadow Rock LP at 100% fan speed. Room temperature is 21 degrees Celsius, 70 Fahrenheit. The Ryzen 3600 using the BeQuiet Shadow Rock LP at 100% fan speed at 100% load using Arctic MX4 thermal paste. Fan at 100%, full speed. Silent mode. And the reason this is so difficult for the mounting mechanism is the very screw that you see there doesn't fit into the spot without sliding it sideways. You have to hold it and put a screw in, so that is the most difficult aspect of mounting this cooler. And when you take it off, often you'll have to redo this clip. Luckily, you're not normally changing coolers consistently. Here is a side-by-side of the Wraith Stealth versus the Shadow Rock LP. After this point in time, I decided to try installing the 3800X. Due to dropping it and bending pins, I continue on with that CPU specifically for all the rest of the benchmarks. Oddly, large FFTs using the 3800X on my ASRock AB350 was now causing some weird temperature fluctuations. Testing with Prime 95 through small FFTs. AMD Wraith Prism at 100% fan speed. Talk about a nice looking cooler. Wraith Prism, 50% PMW fan speed. Wraith Prism, CPU temperature after 15 minutes, 50% fan speed. 75 degrees Celsius, 167 Fahrenheit. Wraith Prism CPU temperature after 15 minutes at 100% fan speed. 68 degrees Celsius, 154 Fahrenheit. The biggest issue with the Wraith Prism is how difficult it is to remove when you have a graphics card in the way. The tab is easy. The side clip is easy to remove. But the problem is, real pain in the butt. It doesn't want to come loose. Should I want to reinstall it, it's easy to do that part. You have to center it and make sure it's completely centered. You can't have it lopsided. It has to fit in the groove between both clips. Force it back so it's in that groove. So once you do that, you attach the clip. Very, very simple to do that part. Once it's in that groove properly, pull that tab forward, and of course, connect your fan header. And of course, this controls your fan as well as the LED lighting. The Wraith Prism has a low-high fan setting. The ports on the left side of this picture are RGB lighting control ports that connect to your RGB lighting control. The BeQuiet Shadow Rock LP at 50% fan speed, 74 degrees Celsius, 165 Fahrenheit at 100% fan speed, 68 degrees Celsius, 154 Fahrenheit. This is the BeQuiet Shadow Rock at 50% fan speed. This is the Noctua NH-L12S. The main difference between this and the BeQuiet Shadow Rock is this cooler is higher up and can fit many different type of high-performance RAM sticks underneath it. The Shadow Rock LP requires low-profile LP RAM. The Noctua has a low-profile fan, meaning it takes less room than the BeQuiet. The install of this fan requires removal of the CPU mounting brackets. I already applied thermal paste and one of the brackets. To apply the other bracket, you'll need that little spacer. You can also go to a different orientation with shorter brackets. Now it can go this way or that way with the long brackets, or use the short brackets and install it towards the RAM or towards the back of the I/O of the motherboard. You'll want to get your bracket other side with the screw already in place. With both hands, it's a lot easier, otherwise you're fighting with the screw and the screwdriver. Then the other side, tighten that side as well. Get it nice and tight. Now, these little screws here, that's what the bottom of the cooler installs to. As you can see, the holes there. And of course, you need a screwdriver that has some length to it to get those screws and tighten them up. Noctua NH-L12S, 100% fan speed. Noctua NH-L12S, 50% fan speed. NH-L12S, 100% fan speed, 66 degrees, 150 Fahrenheit. NH-L12S at 50% fan speed, 71 degrees, 159 Fahrenheit. So some of you might wonder how to take off this fan and change it to something else. Screwdriver, pull, and screwdriver, pull up. And I did manage to mount a Noctua fan using some screws. I want 2 fins in on each screw at least. Using number 4 screws, 3/4 inch, but it allows you a smaller cooler with a quieter fan. Wraith Prism Noctua 92mm fan, 100% fan speed. At 50% PMW. The Wraith Prism with Noctua 50% fan speed hit 74 degrees Celsius, 165 Fahrenheit. At 100% fan speed, hit 70 degrees Celsius, 158 Fahrenheit, just a split second after 15 minutes. Now to compare the fans at 100% and at 50% fan speed. And one thing I should let you know is Prime 95 causes extreme CPU temperatures beyond any normal circumstance. What difference does CPU temperature make? Well, with the Ryzen 3000 series, it can make quite a difference. At 49 degrees, I'm at 4.1 gigahertz. At 62 degrees, I'm already down to 4 gigahertz. At 66 degrees, I'm down to 3.95 gigahertz. And by 70 degrees Celsius, I'm down to 3.9 gigahertz. So we go from 4.1 all the way to 3.9 just on temperature alone. The height of the Wraith Prism is 88 millimeters tall. With the Noctua mod, the height is reduced to 76 millimeters. In this picture, I increased the height to 78 millimeters with a dust filter using number 6 screws that are 1 inch long. The Wraith Stealth has a TDP of 65 watts rated. The Wraith Stealth is about 51 millimeters tall, without the shroud, about 48 millimeters tall. The BeQuiet Shadow Rock LP has RAM clearance of 31.7 millimeters, can only be mounted over RAM or towards the opposite direction towards the I/O ports. The cooler is 50.4 millimeters tall, excluding the fan. The Noctua NH-L12S is 70 millimeters tall, with the fan mount on the underside, 35 millimeters RAM clearance. With the fan mounted above the cooler, the height is increased to 85 millimeters. However, RAM clearance is increased to 48 millimeters. This cooler can be mounted in 4 different directions at 90-degree intervals. The cooler itself comes with thermal paste and is rather good. The cooler also includes a low noise adapter that can be used with pretty much any fan to lower the fan speed. In terms of cooling fans, there are many different options to choose from. You get DC type 3-pin or 4-pin PMW pulse modulation. I find PMW the best type. They're usually a little more expensive, but they're controlled at a very accurate rate. Noctua tends to be my second favorite type of fan. Very good build quality. They also come more low profile, smaller in size than the BeQuiets, but the BeQuiets at lower RPMs are extremely quiet, and unlike the Noctua, have really no motor noise, which means BeQuiet at lower RPMs will give you the most silence. So thank you for watching and have yourselves a wonderful day.